Welcome to the AGM. Thank you.
Yudong.
Hi, this is Yudong Zhang from Beijing, CINCERT. This is my last APNIC conference that I attend as an EC member. It's great to meet you all on this virtual conference. Thank you.
Simon.
Hi, this is Shubhan Savira, and it's my first time in APNIC EC, and welcome you all to APNIC AGM. Thank you.
Maj.
Hi, this is Yoshinobu Matsuzaki, also known as Maz, EC member. Thank you.
And Paul.
Hi, everyone, and welcome. I'm Paul Wilson. I'm the Director General at APNIC, coming to you right now from the APNIC HQ in Brisbane.
Thank you, everyone. As I said, I'm Gaurav Upadhyay. I work for Amazon as a principal in the interconnection side, mostly doing video delivery. I've been on the APNIC EC for almost 5 terms now. Thank you very much, all of the EC members, for attending today and your support throughout the year. Also, I see that we have increasing number of participants joining, so thanks to all of you who are joining. We will go into the procedures of the AGM next, but before we start, a couple of things that we would like to talk about. Obviously, in the last 1 year, I think when we finished with the AGM in Melbourne last year, I don't think anybody of us could have imagined that we would be doing this meeting virtually. And for the few months after Melbourne, we all thought that this will pass. Unfortunately, that was not the case. And we are still struggling and adapting to doing these events and meeting virtually. This is our second go at it. We went through that for Dhaka, and now we are going through it for Manila. And I expect that we'll continue with this at least for this year. And hopefully we will see each other in person next year. But even though we stopped meeting and we were restricted with travel, the Secretariat has done a very good job. We did not see any stoppage of our services. It was mostly business as usual. In fact, our members saw a huge increase in traffic, as was discussed yesterday and day before in the various sessions about how our members have coped with the increased demand on internet infrastructure during the last 1 year. I think as technologists and people who work on the internet, we've seen that happen. The other thing that we noticed last year was, I do think RPKI and routing security has gone to another level with a lot more ROAs signed and route origin validation becoming more and more prevalent in the last 1 year. 2 very good things for our community. Similarly, we saw NOGs, which are very special to us, and other local events start coming back online after an initial round of cancellations. Which means that the local communities are thriving as well in their own ways. Some of the NOGs have done hybrid meetings where they've been partial gathering and partial online. Some other NOGs have gone completely virtual. But all of that still points that our community is very strongly thriving and doing its best to cope with the change scenario. I'll mention 2 more things. One is we published our survey. We had the survey done during the pandemic, another achievement. We'll talk more about it later. But thank you to all of you who participated in the survey. And we've taken the notes, the inputs that was received from the survey into the planning for next year's. And then ultimately, we did publish our annual report last week. The Secretariat and the EC has put a lot of work into it. You can see that the annual report now closely reflects how APNIC Secretariat and does its work and how it ties back to our long-term goals of how we support the community, how we support internet development in the region, and how we keep APNIC as a stable organization. So I'll encourage all of our members to go and look at the survey responses, the survey results, as well as the annual report at the same time. And then we will have open mics later in the day, so we'll have plenty of time for Q&A. For right now, I would like to move on to the next step here, which is we also have APNIC EC Elections, and I'd like to invite Craig to take us through the EC Elections procedure.
Thank you, Karab. Good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. At this AGM, 4 of the APNIC EC members will be retiring by rotation after having served a 2-year term. Each of them are eligible for re-election under APNIC bylaws. So at this election, there will be 4 vacant seats, and this is what your vote will be for. The details are set out on the URL link attached. This is the election timeline. As you can see, the nomination period was for a 4-week period, starting on 11th of January and finishing on the 11th of February. Since the 17th of February, the members have been able to vote electronically and also to appoint proxies if they choose to vote through their proxy. Just moments ago, the voting opened for proxies. The voting entitlement. So APNIC members, their corporate contacts or contacts with voting rights or their proxies can vote in this election. The number of votes are determined by membership tiers, ranging from associate at 1 vote to extra large members with 64 votes each. For the nomination, as I mentioned before, corporate contacts were required to complete and submit an online nomination through the APNIC 51 website. As you saw, the nomination period was a 4-week period in January, ending on the 11th of February. So this election, as was the last one, is completely electronic, and it is done online through the Big Pulse voting system. So the voting period is a 2-week period, starting from the 17th of February and ending later on this afternoon at 2 p.m. Manila time, UTC +8. For proxies, the voting for proxies opened just before and will end as well later today at 2 p.m. Manila time at UTC +8. At the close of voting, the election officers will hold an online meeting with the scrutineers and download the election results and email the results to the election chair in the presence of the scrutineers. The election results will be announced at 2:30 p.m. Manila time, UTC +8 today. So when the results are declared, the election chair will also disclose whether there were any disputes, and if so, how they were resolved. Additionally, the election chair will disclose any communication with the scrutineers if there were any anomaly or issue. The results will be declared like this. So this is the results from the last APNIC EC election. The election chair will read out the total number of votes as well as each of the vote in the order of highest to lower. Our election chair today is Lito Aviria, or Angel Aviria as his full name. He is the president of Philippines CERT. He has been with the Philippine IT industry for over 4 decades. He currently is an ICT consultant, providing consulting services in information security, disaster recovery, and business continuity planning, IT project management, policy development, and data privacy compliance. More relevantly, he's actually also a volunteer with the National Citizens Movement for Free Elections and serves as a member of NAMFRO's governing body and head of systems group. Lito serves as a resource person with the Philippine Supreme Court, the Philippine National Police, the National Bureau of Investigation, Congress of the Philippines, and various national government agencies on matters relating to elections, technology, cybersecurity, cybercrime, and internet governance. As you can see from the slide, Lito was appointed by the APNIC EC to oversee this particular election. He is independent from any APNIC member or candidate, and he has no interest in the results of the election. His responsibility for today, or responsibilities, are to oversee the process, to appoint the election scrutineers, to declare the results, and to resolve any disputes. The APNIC EC also appointed Andre and Connie from the Secretariat as election officers who will administer, well, who did administer the call for nominations, and they will manage the entire voting process and also retrieve the voting results this afternoon. The election scrutineers are John Sweeting and Mahina Amakran. John is from ARIN, US counterpart, and Mahina is from RIPE-NCC, European counterpart. They were selected from internet organizations such as RIRs, ICANN, ISOC, who are present at the meeting. They don't vote, and they must be independent from any member or candidate. So they will observe the downloading of the electronic election results later this afternoon, together with the election officers, and they will notify the election chair if there are any anomaly or issue. If there is any dispute, then any complaint regarding the conduct of the election must be lodged in writing with the election chair, and this must happen at least 1 hour before the scheduled declaration of the election results. The notices must be lodged by the nominees or members, and these are the only people who can lodge a complaint, by email to election-chair@apnic.net. The election chair has the power to resolve all disputes at his discretion. So now I will pass you on to Lito, the election chair, for his part and to declare the election open. Lito?
Yes, good morning here. It's morning here in the Philippines, and good day to everyone. Thank you very much, Craig, for that wonderful introduction. It's an honor to serve as your election chair for these elections. Yeah. So, Craig, would you please display the slide? Craig, please. Okay. Craig, please display the slide for the list of nominees.
Craig, do you have the slides, or would you like us to share them? Your microphone is muted.
Sorry, I was displaying it, but for some reason it's not showing. So let me just try again. Just bear.
We can share it. Are we ready, Steve?
Okay. Why don't you do that?
Okay, just share it. We can go skip. It's coming up now. Next one.
Next slide, please. There you go. Okay. So, well, the nominee profiles and pre-recorded videos are available at the links as shown. 2021.apricot.net/elections/nominations. Okay. And there are 7 nominees running for this election. Next slide, please. So we'll introduce them one by one. We have Rob Thomas. Next slide, please. Gaurav Raj Upadhyaya. Next, please. Next slide, please. We have Kenny Wang. So next slide, please. The previous slide, please. Yoshinobu Matsusaki. Feng Leng. Muhammad Suzanur Rahman. Dewang Goyal. So online voting is now open to both APNIC members and proxy voters. You may vote via My APNIC, or you can contact a help desk via phone, Skype, or live chat for any voting or login issues. The voting period starts now and ends at 2 p.m. this afternoon, Manila time, UTC +8. And the results announcement will be at 4:30 Manila time, UTC +8. So good luck to the nominees. Thank you very much. We'll see you at 2:30.
Thank you, Lito. And thank you, Craig. We will now move on to the next item on the agenda, which is I would invite Paul Wilson to present the APNIC activity report, followed by the annual plan. And then we'll have an open mic before we take a short break.
I'm sorry, I needed to unmute. Thank you very much, Gaurav. Thanks everyone for being here. This is the annual general meeting for 2021. We normally start with the Secretariat report, which is essentially a summary of the annual report from the last year, from 2020. So I don't have too much time for this, but the full details of both the plan and budget for 2020, as well as the annual report for 2020, these files are all available on the APNIC website, and you can go there anytime for the full details. So this will be a briefer report. I want to mention a couple of things. We are now adding performance targets to many of the activities in the reporting. You'll see those throughout the reporting for this year, also for the next year, to give us a better idea of how we're going at the APNIC Secretariat when we compare our reporting with our original plans. The other part is that we've also made a distinction between operational and investment activities. So the operations of APNIC include the services that we provide as part of APNIC's commitment as an RIR. The investments are often additional services or improvements to services, which are also included under the budget, but it allows you, when looking at the budget, to see where investments are being made with member funds to improve on our services and performance versus the operational activities and expenses. So the strategic plan these days is divides our activities up into 5 different pillars: membership, registry, development, information, and capability. And we have a subdivision within each of those pillars into work streams, which collect similar APNIC Secretariat activities into groups of related things. The first work stream under membership is member services, which encompasses our basic responsibility, the APNIC Secretariat to provide services to the members. So our membership total at the end of 2020 reached 8,341, and that was slightly above our budget, our target of 8,262. The service satisfaction among members who provided feedback was 92.3%, excellent and above average, which also is better than our target. Likewise, a 99.98% satisfaction of our service level agreement response time on member services queries. The chart on the right here shows both the members of APNIC itself and also the members of NIRs, and it's very interesting to see that across the entire region, APNIC is now serving directly or indirectly somewhat more than 18,000 different organisations as members of APNIC or of one or other of the NIRs. Gaurav already mentioned the APNIC survey. It was held online for the first time in 2020, partly because of COVID, but partly because we felt it was a worthwhile experiment to try to replace the existing face-to-face focus groups with online interviews. And that was done in April by the survey consultants. The online survey was launched in July and was very successful in that we had a target of a 10% increase in the survey response. We had a 31% increase to 1,624 valid responses to the survey, helped, I think, by the fact that we translated the survey forms into 16 languages and were able to accept responses in those languages, and 35% of respondents completed the survey in a non-English language, which I think is an excellent result and demonstrates the demand that we have for multilingual services. The next work stream under the membership pillar is membership products, and you have heard, I'm sure, about the product management approach that we're taking these days at the APNIC Secretariat to the management of and the development of products in different categories. So we have membership, registry, information, and academy products. These are all covered in quite a level of detail in the products and services session of the meeting this week. So if you'd like more detail, then the archive of that session should give you a lot. But just to begin with, and in summary, the main membership product is itself a MyAPNIC. There were quite a few improvements to MyAPNIC in 2020, including the deployment of the single sign-on APNIC login that allows you to use a single sign-on across Academy, conference registration, training, and MyAPNIC itself as an APNIC member. We had proposal number 125 implemented by the APNIC Secretariat, which is all about improved validation of WHOIS objects, in particular the IRT abuse and role contacts. Improvements to new membership, which saw a big decrease in the amount of spam fake applications that we receive at APNIC on that membership form. Automated invoicing, and also a new level of automation between MyAPNIC and the registry system and other systems such as the Academy and conference registration. So we've got some internal APIs developed to help with that level of streamlining. Now, registration. The registry is the second pillar in our strategic plan, and registration services is the first of the work streams. So these charts are familiar, I think, to most of you who've seen these reports before. It shows the history of resource delegations, IPv4, V6, and ASNs. And quite interestingly, in spite of COVID, we did see 2020 as a more active year in all of our resource delegations at APNIC compared with 2019. ASN deployments were at a higher level than ever, IPv6 getting close to recovering to where we were in 2016. The next chart shows the IPv4 pool status. The last survey showed that concern about the remaining IPv4 address space is still of concern to members, and that the Secretariat is being asked to put some attention into recovery of unused IPv4 addresses. And you can see the success of that actually in this chart. Over the last year, we were able to recover more than 1 million IPv4 addresses voluntarily returned by members and non-members who were not using that address space. That's something like a /12 of v4 address space back into the IPv4 pool, which gives us quite a substantial increase in the pool and in its projected lifetime. We're tracking, of course, transfers. So within APNIC, we have merger and acquisition and historical transfers. These are quite sporadic in the rates of transfers that are seen. So something like 10, 20, 30 transfers per month, not a huge rate, and it varies quite a bit. What you see in the blue bar there, though, is the size of the total size of transfers for each month. This was dominated last year by a historical transfer of nearly a /8, which was transferred to the Asia Pacific Internet Development Trust, and that kind of dwarfed the other transfers which hardly measure on this chart. We see the effects of that again here with the market transfers, in that there were following transfers in August and October, which went from the Development Trust to new holders. We see on the market transfer side, though, that there are also sporadic, but 20, 40, up to 110 or so transfers per month, which are being processed by the APNIC Secretariat as market transfers within the region. Market transfers between APNIC and other regions are shown here. It's a fairly low rate, 6, 8, 10 transfers per month, up to about 1,000 /24s. That's 4/16s, down to probably more like an average level of about a /16 per month for interregional market transfers of IPv4. Registration services is the next work stream under the registry pillar. We were doing a lot of work at the Secretariat in the last year on resource quality, on registry accuracy. There's new functionality in the NetBox tool, which I'll mention, one of our information products, I'll mention shortly, but it was used at least 960 times for querying of APNIC allocated resources against the resource quality check. Also registry accuracy, the Hostmaster Services team is encouraging the creation of organisation objects which help to better represent member organisations in the APNIC WHOIS database. Validation of IRT emails every 6 months under Prop 125, and some improvements of the registry accuracy in relation to the NIR WHOIS databases as well. As I mentioned, reclaiming unused IPv4 addresses was an activity last year that was quite successful. It's going on, but it also, one of the services that was provided or added in this case was a new listing service for members that have unused IPv4 addresses. If they're not to be returned to APNIC, then a member has the option of putting those into a listing service and making them available for transfer to someone else who might need them. Which is better than sitting on them and not using them. Registry Products is the next work stream here. Again, related to the recycling of unused and terminated addresses, some improvements there. Some improvements related to Prop 116, which has got to do with the restrictions on transfers of 103/8. APNIC RDAP, which is one of the registry products, was deployed to Google Cloud, to 3 different cloud instances. Also the RRDP and rsync mechanisms for AS0, the RPKI ROA, that was also deployed to Global Cloud and to Cloudflare. So quite a bit of work there under registry products towards the improvement of the performance of registry products. And as you may know, that term includes WHOIS, RDAP and RPKI as the products that we regard within that group. Investments in this area, Policy Prop 132 was for the deployment of the AS0 rower, and that was announced on the test bed as a test bed deployment in time for APNIC 49, and it went into production in APNIC 50, and there was more was, sorry, just 1 second, plugging in here. More was reported about that product process in the Products and Services SIG. There was also some funding that was provided by APNIC to fund a number of RPKI related developments. So the implementation, RPKI and registry developments, the implementation of RDAP in OpenBSD, some improvements to Krill and RouteNator, and at NLNet Labs as well, the implementation of the RTA, the resource tagged attestation, which is an RPKI function. I'll move on to the development pillar now. The first work stream there is technical community support. We at the APNIC Secretariat participated in many technical community events during the year, 34 different events, including 19 NOGs. We were involved, APNIC staff were involved with the support of establishing PNG NOG. The target here shows that we were hoping to be involved with 2 new NOGs at least during the year, but there was one established in Papua New Guinea. Support for IXP developments in Maldives and Samoa, supporting APAN, the Asia Pacific Advanced Network, that's the regional R&E, Research and Education Network consortium, with the technical committee and the security working group. Sponsoring also peering database, PeeringDB, IXPDB, Peering Asia, and APIX events. Something that many of you, I hope, would have been involved with and would have been aware of at the time was something that we called networking from home. So the APNIC Secretariat, our events team, really noticed during the early part of the year that there were many cancellations of events due to COVID-19. So many of the NOG events that we hoped to participate in and to help with were being cancelled, and we felt it was important then to try and provide some support to online networking during the year. There were 4 events that were scheduled and named as networking from home events, which were collaboratively done with 21 of the NOGs around the region, 4 events aligned to 4 different sub-regions and time zones. And that was a really successful series of 4 events, more than 1,200 participants, as you see here, from all over the region. This was even a finalist for a number of communication awards, but the idea was to help the NOG community to get up and started with where they needed some help to run online NOG events, to create some momentum, some examples, some experience, I suppose, in these online events, which then followed during the rest of the year quite well after that. So we at Secretariat were very happy to be involved with that initiative. Quite a few targets have been set for the year in community participation. So in our SIG special interest group meetings, we set targets for face-to-face attendees, nearly met that. Online participants, we met that target. The number of mailing list subscribers, the attendance at socials, and quite importantly these days, as I think many people would have noticed, is encouraging newcomers to participate in these meetings, and having quite a few events where we really do design and target and hope that APNIC can reach more newcomers to keep building this community. So there are many ways we're working on that and working towards that through the Academy, through social media, through supporting newcomers at conferences, etc. Talking about the Academy, very active in the last year. Training went online completely due to the COVID-19 restrictions, And as you can see from the figures here, and there are a few more figures to follow, we really were able to serve from the APNIC Academy and training team many online participants with live courses, instructor-led training, webinars. We are developing a community trainer network, and quite a number of independent trainers, experts from around the region have been contracted now to help APNIC and help to deliver courses throughout the region. Several new course developments, a new course catalogue and learning pathways, which is the illustration that you see on the right here, and also quite a bit more technical support for members, particularly in IXP operations, IPv6 and routing security. So technical support is often a demand following on from training activities, and it's one that identified in the APNIC survey, and which is being advanced in the next year as well. And here are all the figures on the APNIC Academy. Really impressive to see more than 8,000 students actively participating out of more than 11,000 in total, covering many economies, nearly 5,000 hours of virtual lab time, nearly 2,000 student days of live online training. These figures are increasing quite rapidly, and really we were, I think the timing of the development of the APNIC Academy as COVID hit was really fortunate, because we were able to shift very much to an online way of meeting this demand across the community. We're tracking RPKI adoption across the community. The adoption of rowers across APNIC membership really skyrocketed last year, from 27 to 50% of all members having rowers registered in the system, an increase from 10.7 to 17.6, pretty substantial increase in the amount of IPv4 space being covered by rowers. I think if it's impressive to see the increase in RPKI deployment, and I think if we could see similar levels of increase in IPv6, we'd be pretty happy. But it is great to see the importance that's being seen in routing security. We're doing what we can at the Secretariat through outreach and support across various countries, economies of the region, training events. There was a deploy-a-thon supported by JPNIC last year at APNIC at APRICOT 2020, and we're tracking achievements such as Mongolia having achieved a 100% ROA coverage in October. There are new stats at the APNIC labs showing ROA coverage, and we can see Mongolia and Bhutan as leaders in our region, which is fantastic to see. We haven't forgotten about IPv6. Many face-to-face training sessions have been planned. Quite a few of them, of course, didn't happen last year, so we managed face-to-face training at the beginning of the year, but then followed up with online tutorials, with deployment success stories on the blog, and so on and so forth. The deployment of internet infrastructure, by which we're primarily talking about IXPs and root servers. We didn't quite hit our targets last year because of COVID, because this is something that generally involves travel and shipping and so forth. But we were able to deploy and donate an amount of unused Secretariat or out-of-use Secretariat equipment to several IXPs. And the HoneyNet also received some back-end upgrades, some additional data being provided through the Dash information product, and several new partners. Across the development area, at APNIC, we subdivide our engagement in a way you've probably seen before, showing on this slide 273 different community engagement events that we participated in. The big change that we see, of course, during 2020 is that the number of engagements dropped off in March and April as we switched to an online mode of operation. So that took a little bit of adjustment, as you see, over a couple of months there, but the APNIC staff were able to sort of gear back up through the Academy, through networking from home and other non-participation, and in line with, and at the same time as many others in the community, to gear up to gear back up towards a fully online way of working. And you can see here that the level of activities really were sustained throughout the rest of the year in spite of COVID. I'll move on here to the information pillar and the information products. One of those is the APNIC blog, which I really hope that everyone here is familiar with. It's been very successful. It has a high rate of views, reached 2.5 million all time in October. And as you see, a steady increase in the amount of blog posts. The views are a little sporadic, but trending upwards generally. I know the blog team was quite chuffed by the fact that a guest post that we posted in August about Chromium behavior with respect to the root zone queries resulted in a global 41% reduction in root zone queries, which was something to be not exactly our work alone, but something to be proud of. The three information products, Internet Directory, Dash, and NetOx, we're finding in the product teams a very satisfying increase in the level of usage of all of these products. Some of these targets aren't met in that they're sort of combined targets for several different measures. We only meet the target if we meet all of those measures. And so in some cases, we might skip a target by one of the measures. But in any case, you can see here that Dash had an increase in usage of only 99 in Q3 to nearly 2,000 in Q4. Similarly, NetOx went from 347 in Q2 to 3,200 plus in Q4. And very good scores for usability of those services. I think you can see here that we are trying to adopt more metrics and adopt more measurable ways of assessing our progress in developing these products and services at APNIC Secretariat. The internal technical architecture has received quite a bit of work on our internal information architecture and information management. The network and infrastructure operations has been improved with quite a bit of upgrade in the peering and bandwidth between APNIC services and others. That's happening alongside the deployment of various services to cloud platforms. So some APNIC services can't be deployed so easily onto the cloud. So peering and bandwidth are still important for access to those services, while some are being ported more easily to cloud. Something I feel is important these days, and we see this all the time in the results of the APNIC survey, is the concern about network security. So the APNIC C cert has been formalized. We have a vulnerability reporting program which is published and accessible, and which does attract vulnerability reports. We have the HoneyNet, we have external penetration testing on all APNIC services, and moved quite a long way during 2020 towards certification in 2021 under ISO 27001. Finance and business services, there was a full recertification audit in 2020 to the ISO 9001:2016 standard. The audit of financials was completed successfully as usual each year. Financial reporting improvements. And of course, we had, as many people would know, at the Secretariat, a lot of attention paid to the COVID-19 response, to our response to the different types of lockdowns which we were subjected to during the year, to a work from home regime, to the office access and management, and the future of the APNIC office. This has come at a time when, in fact, the headquarters office here in Brisbane is quite full, and so we are looking towards an ongoing hot desking arrangement, which has been sort of enabled and trialled as a result of COVID. And investments in this area include the data warehousing, business intelligent data mart. It's about integrating what are really quite a large number of collective historical and current and legacy data stores at APNIC into a more improved integrated data warehousing system. Employee experience, we're going agile across the organisation, very much so. It's part of product management, but it also applies to non-product teams. Quite a number of permanent casual roles filled during the year. Only a few new roles, but a bit of turnover there, 3.5% in total. We have leadership development, we have policy upgrades, and building security and surveillance being upgraded as well. And product management, as related, has been quite a significant investment over the last year and more towards what I hope is evidence of a better and more accessible and more effective approach to developing the products that are provided by APNIC to the membership. Governance of the organisation, we at the Secretariat, of course, support the EC and the EC election process, also the risk management, privacy policies, crisis, business continuity management, and all the rest of it happens at the Secretariat. Most of that in close consultation with the EC, of course, as being ultimately responsible. Now we're trying to aggregate our overall success measures for the organisation, looking at how many across each of the pillars, how many of the targets were achieved. I think some of these look less like less of an achievement than they should be, in that some of these achievements, some of the targets which we missed, we only missed by a small amount, and yet we're counting them as being not achieved yet. But this is all part of making the operation of the Secretariat, I think, more transparent and accessible and easier to understand in terms of performance and improvements. That's all I have. A couple of minutes over time. My apologies, but that's thanks from me and the whole Secretariat team who you see on the screen here. Thank you. Back to you, Garib, muted.
Thank you, Paul. As always, thanks to you and the staff for the excellent service. As we see in the survey response, the trust in the Secretariat has gone up, and so we appreciate all the work that gets done, and especially during the year, like previous year, when we kind of went upside down on our regular scheduled work. I think the Secretariat has worked quite well in adjusting to the change scenario. So thanks much.
Thank you.
Do you want to go on to the next presentation, Paul?
Sure can. This is a summary of, again, within the time available, a summary of something which anyone can find on the APNIC website, and that's the summary of the activity plan for 2021, which we have, of course, already started, and hopefully some of the evidence is evident already. I trust you can see this one, Gara. Slide for the activity plan.
Yes, Paul.
Thanks, Sonny. We have 4 themes for our activities in 2021. These are absolutely related to the strategic plan for the current period. They come very much from the results of the APNIC survey, but and in collaboration with the APNIC EC, the APNIC staff and EC together have put together the themes for this year, which have guided the planning. Firstly, we have next generation registries. So we feel we're moving from an old, outdated who is world to new important registry products, RDAP, RPKI, and the applications of RPKI, including ROAs and route origin validation. And along with that, work on APIs so that those services can be reliably and automatically accessed as they're needed. The other part of the next generation registry is resilience of the entire registry operation for resilient 24/7. 27/7 would be too much. 24/7 operations. The next theme is online engagement and participation, something that has been on, I think, on everyone's mind for a long time as APNIC events, for instance, go more and more online. The idea is to increase access across the region, to increase engagement and participation in APNIC activities without so many barriers. But in 2020, it became the new normal because of COVID, and nobody seems to know whether this new normal is going to stay around for another year or two or more, or really stick with us forever. So we do think it's a very good time to be increasing the focus on online engagement and participation, really ramping up to make sure that APNIC is fully functional and the community is fully functional online. Building development capacity is the next theme. This is about scaling APNIC's development area in particular up for increased training, infrastructure and technical support. And it's linked to the success of the APNIC Foundation, which is helping to fund new activities at APNIC, and I'll get to those. And what we need to do is to make sure that we've got the capacity at APNIC and across the community, for instance, with partners and community trainers, to do that work. And we're all working these days in a pretty unpredictable future. I mean, that's both got sort of negative connotations in the COVID sense. It's got positive connotations because there really are many unpredictable developments that are coming at us that I think will be ultimately very good for the community. As you know, the strategic plan defines the 5 pillars. The budget is also allocated across the 5 pillars and the work streams within the pillars. So this diagram has got quite a lot in it. It's got the 5 pillars, it's got the work streams for each of the pillars, and what the bars represent is the budget expense allocation to each of those. So notwithstanding, ignoring one part of this, it's pretty much the normal distribution of APNIC expenses between membership, registry development, and capability of the organisation. But there is one extra shaded bar there, which is for foundation-funded activities. And this is where I say that scaling up for development capacity is quite important now, because we have more than 4.5 million Australian dollars worth of new activities funded by the foundation, which are on our plate for this year. And I'll give you a list of what those are shortly. But just in terms of the highlights under each of the pillars, I just want to mention a few things. We're looking within the membership pillar at the 3 work streams of member services, products and reporting. We're looking towards nearly 9,000 members this year. We're looking to maintain our SLAs in help desk response and service satisfaction. We're looking to grow the feedback group of members working with us at the Secretariat and working with the product development teams up to a bigger group of members and users who can participate in that development activity. We're looking at a new member help center and help desk automation being implemented this year. So that's a few highlights under membership. And as I've said, we've not got too much time here, but there's a lot more detail available on the APNIC website in the plan and budget documents, which really flesh all of this out. Under registry pillar, 3 work streams for registration services, products and policy development. We've got the promotion and support of IPv4 transfers and IPv4, unused IPv4 reclamation coming from the APNIC member survey. We are working hard at the Secretariat through the training and development activities to promote IPv6. We have a target there for 70+% of members with v6 holdings. There will be more work on APIs, particularly in support of the NIRs for registry management, towards the consistency and completeness of the registries that are held across APNIC and the NIRs. Some improvements in the management of the routing management that's available in My APNIC, and that's also related, of course, to RPKI. And likewise, BYO IP services, which are pretty important for many networks interfacing with CDNs, bringing their own IPs and having the RPKI support in place. development area, it's got many work streams. I won't go through them, and many more activities. And as I mentioned, quite a bit of this activity is being supported by new funding that's coming through the foundation. So once again, APNIC is able to extend and expand on the development activities that have been quite traditional at APNIC, primarily training, but also fellowships and technical support and conferences and community support. We've been able to expand on that quite substantially with new funding that comes externally and not from the APNIC member funds. That this has also allowed us to prioritise registry and membership developments across the rest of the budget in a way that's advantageous to those areas as well. But quite a few targets and metrics there in terms of participation in conferences and SIGs, various events, trainings, tutorials, etc. That's all across the development pillar, and it'll be very busy for the next in the next year for sure. Information pillar, we've got more ongoing attention to the blog, of course, and some fairly ambitious targets for the information products, which, as I mentioned, really have shown some success in this first couple of years of development. So we're looking to promote that success and bring more value to APNIC members in the community through those products. The capability of APNIC as an organisation is the last of these pillars. This includes our technical capability and our infrastructure. So there's quite a bit of attention here on the resilience and stability of operations. The adoption of RPKI services and what's become an operational importance of those services quite quickly has led to the need to upgrade the NOC to 24/7 operation. That's something that will happen during the course of this year. The continued migration to the cloud, while at the same time making sure that we've got good multi-peered and good high bandwidth connectivity to services wherever they're offered. There's some references here to the certification ISO 27001, which will be done during this year, we hope, or at least we'll be ready for that, and continuing the successful audits for both finance and QA, which are important and have always been important to APNIC's sort of stability and resilience as a service organisation. The final one there is the expansion of agile work practices across the organisation, which have been very popular and successful in terms of the product development work to begin with. I mentioned the foundation funded activities. So there are several investment activities which are being undertaken primarily by APNIC. I'll note this represents only about half of the activities of the foundation itself. So the foundation has got several other large projects, including, for instance, the Information Society Innovation Fund, ISIF, and others that are outside of this list. But the list of activities that are being implemented by APNIC and that I think are very relevant to APNIC members and community include these ones. So it's got to do with the Academy, development of instructor-led courses, the development of platform and curriculum, and the community trainers, which I've mentioned. We've got a curriculum for non-technical audiences under development, as well as a pretty ambitious program of further deployment of the en-route route server through Anycast nodes, which is the subject of a new MOU, which was signed in this last year with WIDE and JPRS in Japan. Once again, full details of this report, the previous report, are available on the website. Those are the URLs. So that's all. Very happy to answer any questions now or later. I'll hand it back to you, Garab. Thanks.
We are 5 minutes into the break, Paul, but I think we have time for a few questions. As usual with the whole event, I urge our participants to ask questions in the Q&A panel there in Zoom, or if you find that difficult, then you can also ask it in the chat room. We have moderators there. Please use the Q&A button. And again, I think we have traditionally assigned time for open mic, but with the Zoom online session, you can ask questions anytime when someone is presenting. Probably a beauty of being online and not having to stop the speaker while you ask the questions. So please go ahead, ask your questions. We are monitoring it. I don't see any questions there. I think what I would do is let's take our scheduled break right now, and then we come back. We still have another open mic later in the day, and so, but please don't wait for the end of the session to actually ask questions. There's a comment there which says, not really a question, but you guys need to make a big deal about the RDNS fixes from Chromium. Thanks, Rob. I think Paul, you typing an answer, or you want to take that up here?
Just thank you.
Okay, thanks, Rob. But I think for the rest of the participants, please go ahead and ask questions there, even during the presentation. I don't think we need to wait for the open mic to ask questions, and then we can address them as we come to the end of each presentation. That will likely save us some time. So we are almost 10 minutes into the break time. So let's take a 10-minute break, and we'll see you back here 10 minutes from now, like 20 minutes past the hour.
Yeah, thanks, Gaurav. Just please remember to log out of this session and log back in for the next one, because the link is different for AGM2. And we take 10-minute break. Thank you.